Well, hello, Thomas. We're a little bit late for our May one, aren't we? But we are both here now. So
Yeah,
it's been a bit of a holiday time, isn't it? So yeah.
yeah.
Talking about the Let Property campaign and an update for May of 2025. So, Thomas, who have we been helping?
So this month we've helped quite a lot of clients, but one in particular, someone who came to us who had previously declared property, but they hadn't declared a couple of other ones, that they'd been renting. So it was going back about 5 or so years. But in those 5 years, we managed to save them around £6,500 in tax. And also another 2,000 in interest and penalties. So um, we've saved them a good chunk of money for the short period that needed to be declared, which was obviously a really good result for them, um, and they were very happy with the result in the end.
Yeah, and how much roughly do we charge them?
So we charged them around £2,500 plus VAT, which, when you compare that to the amount we saved them, is obviously a lot less. So
Yeah.
that's sort of a good example of our success guarantee and uh, and how it helps our clients save a lot of tax.
About three times as much, isn't it? That
Yeah,
so that's really nice then, isn't it? Really. So they were a happy client then, yes.
yeah, very happy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Is it quite common for people to declare one property and then not declare others? Is that quite something we're finding quite often or not really?
It's not very common. We've had a few clients in the past who have done that, but um, it's not something that comes up too often. So, um,
It's an
but
all or
yeah, if
nothing.
you are someone who has been declaring one property and not another one, then please get in touch.
Yeah, we can deal with that as well as what we're saying, but
Yeah,
mostly it's all or nothing then. Most
yeah,
people either don't declare or they do declare. Yeah.
yeah.
Right. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so tell me about something that a client may have missed.
So it's something that's popped up in a meeting that I recently had with a client where they mentioned to me that they'd sort of put their repairs onto their spreadsheet, but hadn't included any cash things that they paid through cash for. So, like if you paid for a repair by using cash, like for example a plumber or someone like that, then those sort of things can be included in your spreadsheet as long as you sort of tell us what it was for. And if obviously you have a copy of a receipt, then great as well. But it's something that shouldn't be missed off just because you paid for it by cash. So, yeah, if you do have any cash repairs, then definitely include them in the information you provide to us.
Anything cash, yeah, but it's one of those things, isn't it? Yeah, I think because a lot of people misconceive that cash means that it's not going to be declared. I mean, it's not your problem that somebody doesn't declare it. You
Yeah.
want to claim it because you've paid it, unless you make a specific agreement that you're doing it because of that. But then we're not getting involved in things like that,
No.
are we? Is there anything else in the Let Property campaign world that we've been seeing? Is there a particular pattern this time of year or something like that
Um,
going on?
so in the past couple of months or so, we've been receiving quite a few inquiry letters, which seem to have increased compared to what we've had in the past. It's definitely something that HMRC seem to be cracking down on. And obviously with inquiries as well, you've got like sort of the higher penalty rates that can apply, and it's sort of more work getting the information together because there's less that we can do to help save you tax. So um, it's something that is a lot more difficult to deal with in terms of um, getting through with HMRC because they can often ask for evidence as well with these inquiry ones, which obviously is a lot more work for the client to sort of get the stuff together for as well. Um, and in some cases, if you don't have evidence for an expense, HMRC aren't going to allow it, and obviously your tax bill is going to increase as well.
Yeah, so it's more expensive from our point of view as well because there's more work to do, and it's more expensive from HMRC as well because they might be letting you have less
Yeah,
expenses, sort of thing. So yeah, so it's one of those things really. You don't want to do an inquiry or get to the point of having a tax inquiry if you can help it, then really. But yeah, HMRC just seem to be up in their game a little bit, don't they? So, and have you ever
yeah.
seen an inquiry letter where HMRC were wrong and that person didn't have a property to rent?
Didn't have a property to rent. Not that I can think of off the top of my head.
No, I don't think there
I
probably
might.
is one. I think their information is correct, isn't it? So what I'm trying
Yeah,
to say, get at really is that the information that HMRC is getting is correct. Yeah,
yeah.
I haven't seen one either, but I just wanted to check you hadn't either. But yeah,
No,
I think that's important for people to know that basically the information that HMRC has got is right. So they're getting it from a source now that is correct. And so they really do need to get their properties declared, don't they? Yeah.
yeah,
So,
and one thing to note as well with inquiries is, with our regards to our fee, is that the success guarantee doesn't apply in this case, because obviously there's not much that we can do in terms of helping you save tax with these ones, because HMRC will like sort of dig down deeper into the figures, and there's not a lot we can do in terms of helping you save tax in that regard, because there's not as much that we can put through that we could otherwise.
so just be warned really. I think really the best thing to do if you're watching one of these videos now is to come clean now, not wait till later. Really, it's going to save you much more money in lots of ways, basically. So yeah. So have we had any common misconceptions or mistakes that clients, people are making, something like
Um,
that?
yeah, so quite a lot of people I'm speaking to seem to get confused sort of the idea between the difference of improvements and repairs. So um, someone I was speaking to recently, they said that they'd read online that you couldn't replace an oven that had like stopped working, which isn't the case. As long as you're replacing it with sort of a similar spec oven and you've not like upgraded your whole kitchen, then then that's perfectly fine to put through as a repair because it's just replacing something that's broken.
Yeah.
Um, Whereas an improvement is something like you've knocked through a wall or you've created an extra room or something, anything that's sort of increased the value of your property rather than just making it functionable. Um, Whereas like sort of replacing an oven or replacing a window or something that's broken or anything like that, that's sort of general repairs to the property rather than flat out improvements
And
that
that's where
aren't allowable.
having a professional by your side can be helpful. Yeah, because
Yeah.
replacing an oven is going to be a good few £100s, isn't it? So that
Yeah,
will
and
help.
that's something they wouldn't have included as
Yeah.
well, without speaking to me about it. So,
Yeah. So that's
yeah,
another way we're saving our, their money, really.
yeah,
And that's why we have our success guarantee in place, because a lot of the time it's because we know things that other people don't know. And you can chat GPT as much as you like, but it still doesn't tell you if it's actually the correct way of dealing with something. And our information and our knowledge can help you with that. So how's it been going with the possible new clients then at the moment?
yeah. So we've still got a lot of people contacting us, like either for a form or some have been calling us as well directly. But yeah, we've had a lot of people come to us. There's still a lot of people who are getting prompted by HMRC through the letters, whether it's inquiry or just the sort of nudge letter that the HMRC give out for the Let Property campaign. It's obviously something the HMRC are still cracking down on and something that they're planning to keep going for a while longer yet. So it's definitely best if you haven't had your nudge letter yet, or if you have, either way, to sort of get in contact with us and to sort of come forward as quickly as possible, really, to sort of get as little penalties as you can and make sure that HMRC don't get to you first.
No, and that's the thing. We always say, come clean now, don't wait till later. I mean, we get people sometimes who do ring up, don't they? And say, oh, I'll wait till later. I haven't got the money together yet, and all this sort of type stuff. The problem is, if the longer you wait, the more likely HMRC are going to catch you. We'd much rather find a payment plan or whatever for you. And most of the time, people pay much less tax than what they're thinking anyway, don't they? So a
Yeah.
lot less, a lot of the time. Um, so talking about rejections, how's the rejections world going? Because last year it was a nightmare for our point of view, wasn't it? How's it going
Yeah.
at the moment?
But we do seem to have been getting a lot more accepted recently. So whether HMRC have changed the way they review these uh, whatever, it's definitely improved in that regard. We are still getting some rejections, mainly for sort of calculation purposes. Quite often, HMRC are sort of sending us calculations for years, where they're sort of showing that the client's got like either benefits or expenses from their employment that we weren't aware of, or interest or things like that. And those things obviously change how much their other income is compared to the property, which in turn is also changing sort of the tax bracket they're in. So it's just a case of sort of clients making sure they give us all the information they have, and giving all of that to us in advance so that we don't have to go through the phase of sorting the rejections out, and hopefully they should get accepted first time if we do have all the information
Yeah, it's
available to us.
much better for them, isn't it, if they get accepted
Yeah,
first time as well? Because I always think if HMRC look at something, they're more likely to go looking deeper because
yeah,
they've started looking. So, even if you haven't got exact figures, if this is you and thinking, oh, I've only got some P60s or I've only got this information, even if you haven't got everything, we are able to guess, or we can make a subject access request, can't we, to get that
yeah,
information from HMRC. But if you don't tell us it exists, we have no idea. So we're not mind readers, So that is the key to it, really, is that if we know that you've got an employment and you had this and you had something else, we can then go from there, can't we, with them? And,
yeah,
then we can find out, or we can make an estimate. As long as we've got a rough idea, at least then we can, put in a better estimate for them as well. Because they, if we tell them so much tax is due and then later they find out it's a bit more, it's because it will be higher because we didn't maybe know about one of your income. So.
yeah.
Okay, so just before we wrap up a little bit then, so you mentioned the success guarantee and you've mentioned that does not apply if they are under a tax inquiry by HMRC. But what does it mean if you're a landlord with a Let Property campaign? What does it mean to them if they're watching this for the first time?
So our success guarantee is that we will save you more in tax than the fee that you pay us. So if we were to save you, say, 2,000 and your fee was 3,000, then you would only pay us the amount that you save us. So, for example, in that example, you would only end up paying us 2,000 rather than the 3,000 we'd originally quoted. Um, More often, well, in pretty much every case I've dealt with, ended up saving more tax than the fee you paid us, but you will never pay more than what we've quoted you. So the maximum you pay is the fee that was quoted in your letter of engagement. But like I said, if we ended up saving you less than that fee, you would only pay us what we've saved you.
I
And
think we've
that's our
actually had
success
one
guarantee.
case where we had to give about £100 back. So yeah,
Yeah,
so finally we have given somebody some money back. But yeah, and the majority of times well, actually 99.9% of the time we are saving people more than they're paying us. So
yeah,
that is one of the things that we really do love to. And also, we love to get great feedback, which is what I've got as well at the moment. Is I've got a lovely feedback that we've had. Um, from somebody who actually was on has said that they required the support of our accountancy services to help them resolve an urgent issue, and after reviewing the Marslands YouTube presentations, felt very comfortable with this company that we have the experience and the knowledge to move them forward. We followed up with a summary discussion over the phone and general email support. The work began to evolve, and finally we met to review and discuss the financial outcome. It was well considered and thought through, and the cost was so much lower than I had imagined. Isn't that great? I love it when people say that. And this
yeah,
is why I always say to people, if you've got a figure of 50 grand in your head, it probably isn't 50 grand. It's probably closer to 20 grand. And sometimes we might end up getting you naught. We don't know until we start looking at it in detail. But it's lovely that that these people are follow. I mean, I think one of the things as well that people need to understand, this does take time. We normally estimate that from when you start with us to when it's finished, or at least submitted to HMRC, that normally there's a 3-month period. We can do it in less if you've already got a deadline to do, but we
yeah,
are talking about a 3-month period over which this is done. So yes, there will be emails, we have to have a spreadsheet, all these other things that need to be done. But yeah, no, it's great to have that, sort of like, it was an urgent issue. Our Marslands YouTube channel is helping people make that decision as well. which is what, you know, we've been trying to do for a long time now, is to just reassure people that we are here, that we're doing the right things, we know what we're doing, because a lot of accountants who don't deal with the Let Property campaign would not understand a lot of the things that we now do, because we've been doing them so regularly on a daily basis, really, isn't it? So
Yeah, and that's something that's popped up a few times as well because we've had a few clients who had previously tried to get another accountant to do it and they'd not done it properly, and that's when they came to us. So it's something that it clearly isn't everyone's area of expertise, but it is with us.
yeah, it is definitely. And if somebody wants to contact us, how do they go about doing it?
Okay, so the best way to get in contact with us is by visiting our website at marslands.co.uk. And we then have a make an inquiry now button on the website. So when you click on that, it will be a short form, should take no longer than sort of a couple of minutes, 5 minutes to fill out, where you can put all your information in, just like when you rented it and accept and just details regarding your property. Um, there's also an additional information box where you can add any extra details on the property that you think might be relevant, that will help us sort of before the meeting as well. And then once that form's filled out, you'll then get a quote from our system. Um, you might get a bespoke quote, in which case someone will be in contact with you with that bespoke quote. But when you get that quote, you'll also have the chance to book a call with one of our team who will sort of go through sort of the basics of what you filled out on the form and give you sort of a quote to go through with you. They won't be able to offer any advice as we cannot legally do that on the initial discovery call. But once you're signed up with a client, once you're signed up with us, then you will be able to sort of have that meeting where we can give you advice. But that's only once you're signed up with us. But yeah, one thing to note is we have had some clients who have been filling out the form who haven't been previously renting it, if they're like renting out in the current year. Um, if you are one of those people, don't use that form to fill out your information. What we would advise is to email us. We will also be doing a separate video shortly to sort of go through the details we'll need from you um, to get in contact with us. And yeah, that video will be out shortly, and that should have everything that we'll need from you. But we advise to just not fill out that form as it can clog up our system a bit with getting confused with who's current year client and who's a Let Property campaign one.
Yeah, so what we're trying to say. So if you've got a 2025 tax return and up to now you've always been doing your tax returns on time every year and you'd like to move to Marslands, what we're asking is could you please just email us with your information? Thomas is going to do that video to tell you what information we need, or there'll be a link in the email response to you. But yeah, if you fill out the Let Property campaign form that's on there, you'll get some confusing questions that probably don't mean as much for you as well. So make yours and our lives a lot easier, basically, if you are just a landlord who's actually up to date and just would like to have in a quote for us doing their information. So yeah, but if you're a Let Property campaign landlord, then please use the make an inquiry button now. And if you don't know every single piece of information exactly, don't worry. We're just asking for some overall information, and then we'll run through anything that you don't understand or anything from the additional information box in our discovery call. Yeah. Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, Thomas.
Thank you.